What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Figure It Out of the Basement's Action Figure Talk Show. I'm Nate, joined with Justin.
What's up, guys?
And today, we've got two little pieces of news to discuss here. Star Wars The Black Series news.
Yeah. Some controversial news.
Of course.
Some heavily divisive news.
Before we get into it, though, of course, as always, if you're enjoying Figure It Out, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe if you are new. Consider joining our channel membership for 99 cents a month. Become a member of the Basement Dweller Army and get some cool emojis. We got some shinies. We've got some Coruscant guards. We've got some 212s down there in the comments, and that could be you.
That could be you.
So, Justin, let's jump into it. Of course, Yak Face bringing us all of our news this week. We got to see a brand new Gaming Greats figure.
Yep, and this is Boss from Republic Commando.
He's the character you play as.
Yeah, and, you know, he's the orange clone commando that we see in the game. He also has a small canon appearance in Star Wars The Clone Wars. And there's some divisiveness, some controversy surrounding this figure. I have a lot of problems with this figure, Nate. One of which is actually a low priority for me. I mean, it's bad, but I feel like it could be better because of camera technology, and this is the color. So, Boss is orange. He is the orange clone commando. These shots from Hasbro look really, really red. Almost like the shade of Sev, which is the red clone commando.
That's instantly what I thought at first. As I was like, this is Boss.
Right.
I was like, Boss is orange.
Right.
But then in some other photos, it does look a little bit more orange. It still does have like more of a red tint to it. But I think depending on like which promotional shot it's
like scarlet almost.
Yeah, it looks a little different. I definitely think that this is honestly my biggest hang up is that it doesn't look orange and it looks red, because I would assume at this point this means we're going to get the rest of Delta Squad. So like, what does that mean for Sev? Like, they're going to look super similar on the shelf if Boss really turns out to be as red as the promotional pictures make it look.
Because, like, Hasbro is kind of notorious for doing this with their photography. I don't know how they do their stuff, but their exposure settings are really good, but you just never know what camera they're using, what their white balance setting is, what color settings they have, because they're taking these shots. You know, it's not just the majority of people shooting with their iPhone taking pictures. You know, they're shooting with a really high quality DSLR, SLR, digital, like whatever it is. So we don't know like what settings they use, which could alter the way colors look. They might even color grade their figures, because these figures look amazing in photos a lot, and then, you know, when we get them, they look a little bit different. Could be like a color palette that they're applying to their photos. We don't know 100% if this is just going to be like a red figure.
Before I pull my pitchfork out, I'm going to wait till I see it in hand.
Okay.
But yeah, that was the first thing that drew my eye, was the inaccurate color. Now, I know a lot of other people are getting really hung up on the reuse of this figure, which it's very obvious if you look at the photos that it is on the Hunter body.
Which, this is where I'm mostly upset, because Hunter doesn't use clone commando armor. He uses a special unit, like variation. It's much thinner. He's a much more lean clone, and you know, that's real. You can look it up, Wikipedia, and all of that. And I think for a different class of trooper like this, I know it's Gaming Greats, but they should have done a new mold, and here's why. This is a Gaming Greats based on the Republic Commando game. The Clone Commandos themselves have canon appearances in the Clone Wars and Bad Batch and Battlefront 2. So we have so many appearances of these Clone Commandos, and every single one of those appearances, they are bulky boys. These are like heavy troopers. Their armor is bulkier. They have generally more armor, but they also look like larger clones on the inside as well. Another stinger here is that we have a canon look of Boss. in the Clone Wars. There is that short little clip of them like returning the bodies to Coruscant,
right,
of the fallen Jedi, and even there you can tell that they're bulkier. And then we also have canon appearances of the Commando armor, which is the same armor, just, you know, the plain white one that we see in Bad Batch. Also some other color variations, and you can see the bulk.
And Scorch.
Yeah, and Scorch, you can see the bulk, and not to mention the Battlefront 2 games. They all look pretty consistent across the board. I mean, you can compare them, just the picture of the figure versus a picture of Boss. And they just don't look alike. And it upsets me because this seems to look like a new character that we haven't seen before. It's like a different version of the character. It's not Republic Commando. It's not the Battlefront mold. It's not Clone Wars. It's not Bad Batch. It's just a completely new Commando that we've never seen before.
Right.
And I don't like the idea, because some people say, like, oh, it's gaming greats. It's a budget line. There's going to be reuse. It's not even the reuse that I'm mad about, because I could see why it would be reuse. I'm just mad that there was nothing to reuse. Like, there was no appropriate thing to reuse. So saying that, going forward, the excuse is that every single video game character is going to have to be not accurate just because it's a video game character and it's going to be in this budget gaming greats line.
Right.
I'm really upset about the way he looks. It's way too skinny, so the helmet looks a tad too big, even though the Commando helmets are really oversized anyway, but it's still just, the proportions aren't there. And it has where Hunter's knife would go. It has the empty peg. They couldn't even fill the peg.
I mean, I would even say that the knee pads are inaccurate. The shoulder pads, to a certain degree, are inaccurate.
There's, like, super detailed photos out there from, like, other creators.
Right.
That break it down much more than I would be able to. But it's almost like every single bit of armor. Because the Hunter armor, the bits look similar.
Yeah.
Like, certain bits on the Commando or on the Hunter body look similar, but it just simply doesn't scale up like how it's supposed to. It looks weird. Which,
of course, is unfortunate, because I think this was a character a lot of us were waiting for.
Beloved characters.
For a long time. I am a huge fan of Republic Commando, the game. It's one of the first-person shooters I ever remember, like, playing a lot. The other thing that's going to really bug me about the Republic Commando figures is if they give all of them just the DC-17. Because in the game, it specifically has attachments that change out, so it turns into like a sniper rifle and other different like blaster type weapons. I'm like, are they... They're just going to give them all the plain, basic DC... I mean, I hope I'm wrong. Maybe give the other characters the different DC-17, like, attachments.
Okay.
But I'm kind of worried that they're just going to give all of them the basic...
Because it's the budget line, so it's like...
Right.
It's such a limiting thing with the gaming greats. I mean, what irks me is that these clone commandos that have been in Clone Wars and Bad Batch, like the canon looks, even the looks in Battlefront 2 2017, in that certain episode, we see Hunter and a clone commando, and you can tell that they are not the same. They're not wearing the same armor.
Right.
So this isn't even an issue of, like, the animated clone style, when people are like, that doesn't look accurate because it doesn't have the right proportions and it doesn't have the black line. But at least it's accurate to something, like the 332nd or the Camino Security. At least that's accurate to something we see on screen. With this one, it's like we see Hunter and we see the Commandos. Two canon characters in the same like form of media. So the reuse just doesn't make an ounce of sense to me. I would almost say like reuse parts of Wrecker before you reuse Hunter. Like, I have no idea. Like, it goes down to like the neck armor and like the pads and like all the other stuff, the legs and everything.
You know, honestly, Wrecker probably wouldn't be a terrible idea.
Because he's
not that much bigger.
Right. that just irks me. I think the main thing that irks me is we see Hunter and the Commandos in the same damn episode, in the same scenes, interacting.
Right. And like you said, this particular version of Boss is accurate to nothing. It's not accurate to Republic Commando. It's not accurate to Clone Wars. It's not accurate to Bad Batch. It's not accurate to Battlefront 2.
But are we still going to buy it?
I was going to say, that being said, I did pre-order it because at the end of the day, you know, it's okay to be critical of something, and it's okay to voice, you know, what you think is wrong with the figure in a constructive manner. But at the end of the day, if it's either this version of Boss on my shelf or no version of Boss on my shelf, I'm going to go with I want Boss on my shelf.
Because there are no other 6-inch forms.
Yes,
unless
you go custom commission and you're willing to drop a couple $100. Right.
That's, some of you guys were saying that in the Discord. No. Like,
yeah, that's not really a replacement for a $26 action figure.
Right. There's no alternative to Black Series. Commission all the clones and all the accuracy you want.
More power to you.
Shell out that cash. From the consumer, you know, that problem shouldn't be on us, which that's another knock on Hasbro. The responsibility shouldn't be on the consumer to 3D print things that we want, to have to commission clones that have the correct proportions. But the cold hard truth is that they're not going to do a correct Boss.
Right.
And this is what you have. This is what you're presented with. Hasbro is a damn monopoly when it comes to Star Wars.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like SH Figuarts is going to bust out a Boss anytime this century, so...
These are, you know, mass-produced, huge character catalog, but it still sucks. I didn't pre-order. I'm up in the air what I'm doing, because he kind of just looks like a ketchup trooper. It just doesn't look right to me. It looks, Boss is on a diet of some kind.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I'm not offended by the Boss figure, because if I truly didn't like it, I just wouldn't buy it. But I do like the character, and I do want that representation on my shelf, so even though it's inaccurate, I'm still going to take it, I'm still going to buy it, and put it on my shelf, because I just want a representation of Boss. Which, at the end of the day, say what you want, it still does resemble Boss to a certain degree.
Yeah, to some degree, for sure. I don't know what I'm going to do. Let us know in the comments in a civil manner.
Yes.
Of what you think about...
It's okay to be upset.
The new gaming greats.
But we don't need to...
It's okay to be upset, and it's okay to be hyped.
Yeah.
There's no wrong or right answer here.
Yep. You like what you like, and that's been our motto for the longest time. And on a last note for Boss, of course, it's $26.99, available for pre-order on GameStop's website, with a expected arrival date of December 15th of this year.
Yep.
Which Yakface also stated that shipments of the figure have already arrived in Canada, so that may be pretty true.
I'm down.
But now, Justin, let's move on to something that pretty much everyone liked.
Yeah. Unless you're a Zoomer.
Yes.
And you have no respect.
Everyone has already seen this figure. It's already gone up for pre-order, but we're talking about the fan channel exclusive George Lucas in Stormtrooper disguise. I think we could all say that we are super stoked about this figure.
Yes.
We've been asking for years, especially ever since Stan Lee got a Marvel Legend. I think a lot of people were like looking like, okay, Black Series, like your move.
Just in case you don't get it or like understand, it's a novelty. So, like you said, Stan Lee got a Marvel Legend. In the NECA Aliens line, James Cameron got a Colonial Marine figure. This has been done before. It's nothing new. It's something that we have asked for. Because if it wasn't for George, we'd have absolutely no Star Wars at all.
Yep.
And we have been wanting a figure of the maker himself.
Yes.
For a long time.
Now, was I hoping for maybe like the full flannel jeans look? Yes. But will I take the Stormtrooper disguise look, which is I also think is fairly clever? Yes, I'm going to take that one too. And they put him on the new Stormtrooper body, which, yes. So that already means, because phew, it comes with a removable helmet, or maybe an alternate head or something.
I'm a little confused because it has the hairstyle on it. So I'm like, will that helmet fit on the head?
Right. We might either see some chin or...
And in none of the promo shots does he have the helmet on.
Right. So that's like a little bit of a red flag.
Mm-hmm.
Some people were saying, though, they think that the helmet does look different, like sculpt-wise.
I think, Skywalker Hendrix was telling me he thinks it looks a little more clean, perhaps.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But
retooling.
It's one of those things where I'm not going to know until I can physically, with my
100%.
own eyes, hold them up together.
Yeah. And it's a fan channel exclusive.
Yeah, so it was super easy to get. Big Bad Toy Store, Dorkside Toys. At the time of this recording, we don't know how much it is, but I'd assume it's anywhere from $22 to $24.99, maybe even $26.99 in certain places. But it's going to be on a vintage Kenner-style card back as well. Mm-hmm. This also opens up another fantastic opportunity to just leave those helmets on and add more troopers to your army. Personally, I think I want to get two. One to open and, of course, enjoy as George Lucas in Stormtrooper disguise. But the other one to just pop that George Lucas head off and start putting it on other bodies. Maybe a Jedi body. Maybe a different kind of trooper. Mm-hmm. Or maybe a Marvel Legend suit body or something like that,
Yeah.
Something that's where my brain is already going with seeing that George Lucas head. And honestly, I think the head looks pretty good. It's not like crazy super accurate, but
yeah, I was gonna say I think the head sculpt is just okay.
Yeah,
it doesn't scream George Lucas to me.
I mean, I look at it and I know it's George Lucas, but is that just because I know it's George Lucas?
Right. Amazing news. So, I mean, we got a little bit of a stinger.
Yeah.
And then, there's your...
a redeemer.
A redeemer. A stinger and a redeemer.
Yeah. So, super easy to get. Happy this was a fan channel exclusive figure.
Please do more.
Yes, more fan channel. Nothing goes wrong when it's a fan channel figure. You can buy as many as you want. You're going to get those figures, and you're just going to be able to rest your head at night knowing that... Yeah, it might take a little bit longer due to all those random shipping delays that have been going on, but you will eventually get your, 97 George Lucases if you wanted to pre-order 97 of them.
There you go.
So, great news. Of course, it seems so obvious in hindsight, but on our live stream recently with the Dude's Nerdier, it's gonna be Star Killer!
Yeah, because it said legend.
Right.
OT era legend.
And now it makes sense because it's an OT Stormtrooper, and of course it's the legend himself, George Lucas, the Spring Mix. It's gonna look awesome, especially with the Dave Filoni figure as well. So let's keep that going. Let's get a Jon Favreau next.
and then I feel like we just need a Sam Witwer, and what better figure to make Sam Witwer of other than Starkiller?
And then just throw John Williams in there, too.
And throw Ben Burt in there as well, because not enough people mention Ben Burt.
So, yeah, it was a roller coaster of emotions this week in terms of Black Series news. Some downs, some ups. But ultimately, both figures we talked about today will be purchased, especially by me. Such is the way of the Black Series. We criticize, and then... I'm a sucker, so...
Well, we gotta get it for the channel, right?
Yeah, we do have to get those reviews out, so it is our job to provide content to all of you. So, frankly, you can't criticize us for criticizing a figure and then buying it anyway. We're invulnerable. But that is all the news that we have for you this week. I'm sure something else has been revealed in the time of recording to the time of posting.
Of course.
Whatever it is. I think it looks cool, and I pre-ordered it.
True.
But, of course, thank you so much for watching this episode of Figure It Out. If you enjoyed, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, ring that bell for notifications. For only 99 cents a month, you can become a member of the Basement Dweller Army. There should be a join button next to the subscribe button. If not, link in the description. Every single Sunday, we live stream at 1 p.m. Central Time, usually with a guest. Sometimes it's just me and Justin. It's a lot of fun to just hang out, talk toys, talk any news that we missed. We usually circle around and talk about it on Sunday if we miss it on Figure It Out. So we've got a lot of stuff out there for you. Of course, I'm Nate, joined with Justin.
See you guys later.
And we will see you all next time on Out of the Basement.